Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB-AM. I'm Tom Toole. He's Kyle Sutera. He's DJ Sutera. They're both with Cross Country Mortgage, and I work at the Tom Toole Sales Group, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018.
Woo.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you want to get in touch with Kyle and DJ, it's ccm.com/the Sutera team, Sutera. And we're going to be talking about the Fed meeting post-op. Jerome Powell's at it again. We'll explain what that means in a second. There's also, I am shocked by the amount of local development news going on in some areas that I think we all grew up in and know pretty well. We're going to talk a little bit about that and a surprising amount of opposition that I continue to see when it comes to development in the suburbs. And then Kyle and DJ are going to be talking about buying and selling at the same time, how to arrange the financing. One of the hardest things to do in real estate, low down payment options, 2-1 buy downs. There's a lot of things out there that people don't realize are available when it comes to financing. Kyle and DJ are going to break it down with their incredible company at Cross Country Mortgage. So if you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with our team to talk about your real estate needs, or you got some financing questions, you can do that with the link in the comments to connect with these two. So fellas, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
It's ccm.com/the Sutera team. I've been working with Kyle and DJ and their family. I was talking to Kevin. It's been about 18 years, which I think says it all because I'm a big believer that mortgage companies should be like offensive linemen. You never want to hear about them. And if you do, the quarterback's probably has a dislocated elbow like Jaden Daniels. So we're going to very grateful for you guys here. Let's talk about this Fed meeting. We talked briefly about this, that, Jerome Powell seems to be up to his old tricks where they cut rates. Everyone expected a 25 basis point cut. Market's feeling good, probably already priced into the data. And then Jerome Powell decides to go on stage and shoot his mouth off. And after a 10-2 vote, one person feeling that they shouldn't have cut rates, one person, the newest appointed Fed governor, felt they should have gone 50 basis points, which I think would have been incredible. He said there's no guarantee we're seeing a December rate cut. We'll dive into this here. What's your reaction to this? Because it's like they do one thing, they say another, and then the market's going into a tizzy. And I think that's a real problem, not only for your business, but our business as well, and creates a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun week. We got the news that we expected, right? The 0.25% rate cut that was baked into the market. Which a lot of people don't realize that markets always move in advance, especially when things are forecasted. Everyone knew or assumed that they were going to lower their rate by 0.25%. And they did it. So that's great. So that checks out with where the market had kind of buffered itself in. But 90% of analysts were pretty confident that they were also going to lower the rate in December. So that was already buffered in as well.
Yep.
So what happens in those situations is that following that meeting, the consumer markets actually backtrack a little bit. They kind of self-correct. And where it leaves us is, yes, now we have a lower funding rate, but because the market's backtracking based on the press conference afterwards and just some, shot off words, we actually saw consumer rates take a bump up. So it's been some tough conversations that we've had over this past week, but it wasn't fun. But I don't think it changes anything about the way that we do business. And to be honest, it doesn't give any guarantee of what's going to happen in December.
Correct. Yeah. No, I think a lot could happen between now and the next meeting that could change the forecast. So
what do you think would change the forecast? Obviously, there's the dual mandate of the jobs reports and then inflation. And one of the problems is we've got a government shutdown right now, so I don't have a lot of data available, which is a whole nother issue. Short of inflation coming in like super hot or the jobs market looking really good, meaning there's there's a lot of jobs added, not the other way around. What else do you think might throw them off here at the December meeting for another rate cut?
I personally think that they came into this meeting without a lot of data, right? They knew, I think they already all kind of knew that they were going to make this cut this month, but they came into it kind of shooting blind. And with no real important data on the horizon, as long as the shutdown continues, I think in a way, Powell is just kind of hedging his bets a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe preparing to be a little bit more fuzzy next month, or making sure that no one expects anything because they have no clue what's going on.
At the end of the day, the entire board has the vote.
Mm-hmm.
He's just the spokesperson, and he holds a lot of power. And when they're conflicting like that, I really think that was a hedge. Mm-hmm. Because you look at the vote and you're like, okay, this was next to unanimous. And then he's backtracking for future cuts. But if this government stays shut down even longer, I feel like there is a large push that's going to be towards another cut in the votes. And that's what matters.
Yeah, it's not going to help jobs. And as long as that keeps trending downward, there's going to be more pressure to lower rates. So we'll see. If it's not in December, there could be a light in early next year. But I don't put a ton of weight in those words he said afterwards because, I think he was kind of playing devil's advocate there.
So I tend to agree with you on that. And, if you look at some of his comments here, I mean, the main comment that came out of this, and I'd love to get your reaction, is he only mentioned housing once during his opening statement. Data available prior to the shutdown show that growth and economic activity may be on a somewhat firmer trajectory than expected, primarily reflecting stronger consumer spending. Business investment in equipment and intangibles has continued to expand, while activity in the housing sector remains weak. Then there were some questions, but really he said there's no guarantee we see a December rate cut. Now, I am clear that the markets don't believe that. We talked about this earlier because you look at Polymarket and CME Group, which are basically like the DraftKings or the FanDuel of what happens with the interest rate cuts. So even just right after the meeting, the odds went from like a 90% chance we'd see a December rate cut to about 67% on the CME Group. Today, they're up to 70.1% that we see a 25 basis point cut. Polymarket, I mean, they were at 90% on October 27th. Now it's at 69%. We're going to see a 25 basis point cut. They're only putting no change at 28%. And that's about where, CME Group is at 29.9%. So I'm a big believer the investors are smarter than the Fed. I don't know how you guys feel about that. You probably deal with them a lot more. I think that we're going to see things calm down. We're going to get some more data. The shutdown's going to be over. I mean, hopefully. I mean, we've got, 36, 37 days until this happens. And they're going to finish the job here. That's what I see happening because the market could use a cut right now. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are talking about. And it's unfortunate because rates got down to this lowest level in 3 years. And then Powell opens his mouth and they jump right back up, which is frustrating for a lot of folks. And then the same thing happened after the last meeting.
Yep. Markets are reactionary. So that data that you just gave out, the difference of where we were last week versus today, that confidence building back up. We put that meeting behind us, start looking forward to December, start leaning on the little data that we have. And look, at the end of the day, we're going to deal with the rates that we have. Right. And if we get another Fed cut in December, awesome. That's going to bring a lot of people out of the woodwork to get into the market early next year. But, we have to deal with what we have, especially when the government's not giving a whole lot of information. And we'll see what happens.
And the consumer rates only did go up maybe, what, 0.25%?
0.25%.
About 0.25%. So, a lot of the conversations that we've been having on the consumer level is what does that do to your monthly payment? Mm-hmm. Painting that picture for them, and talking through it and making sure they know it's not us. We're just the messenger. That's important. You can't time the market perfectly. You got to do what's right for you and your family. And we're going to get you the best deal possible, but the market will be the market. So
that's a really good point that DJ just brought up is that a lot of people don't understand what an 1/8 or 0.25% interest rate jump or fall does to their actual monthly payment. In a lot of cases, it's not overly impactful. You see that number, everyone wants the lowest possible rate. Everyone wants to time that up perfectly. But when you put those numbers on paper, when you sit with your lender and run those housing numbers, especially if that house is the one that you want to be in, that difference in rate is not going to make a huge splash in your monthly payment. It's not going to throw your budget off significantly. And like you said, timing the market is impossible. So we got to look at the data that we get. We got to deal with what the Fed gives us and try to project what things are going to be like next month. but that house that you like might not wait until next month. So let's run the numbers on that. Let's see how we can get that comfortable. That's always our overarching point, is let's deal with what we have and try to make people as comfortable in their monthly payment as possible.
Well, I think that's the smartest thing you can do. The magic formula, right? Can you live in the home 5 years?
Okay.
Can you afford the payment? And does the house work for you? That's really what I mean. It's really that simple. And we posted something on Instagram. It's funny these comments you get where it talked about like the Moody's projections. They were projecting prices are going to go up like 29% over the next 10 years. People start losing their mind. Like 29% over 10 years, it's 3% a year, right? I mean, that's normal. And people are literally losing their mind. Prices are going down. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not a good time to buy. Like, no one said any of that. They just said, here's what's happening. Then you got to figure out what's best for you. And so you probably dealt with a little bit of pushback when rates came up and this meeting happened. Like, what's that conversation like with consumers where they expect one thing, maybe they didn't lock in? I mean, walk us through like how you help people understand what the best thing is for them, because I think that's really difficult for any professional, but consumers need to hear this stuff, because if you just tell them what they want to hear, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. I mean, we try to explain it in advance as much as we can.
Yes.
When we have people that are getting serious on a house, placing offers, really keying in on the interest rates, we try to explain about where we are in this, Fed controlled situation where we have these meetings that everyone's really, sitting in wait for. And that if we're at least able to get out ahead of that and explain how markets work and buffering and rate drops and what happens with the aftermath of press conferences after the meeting, if we're able to get out ahead of that conversation, it's not quite as hard. But for us, it's all about trying to inform our clients, to the best of our ability of here's where we stand now. Here's what could happen. Do we want to lock now? Do we want to lock then? Here are the pros and cons. No one likes to hear that their rate went up. That conversation is it's not an easy one to have, and there's no other way to say it. The rate is now higher. But if we can inform our clients, and we try to as much as we can work on it together as a team.
So what it like in terms of being proactive? I know you're very good at like sending out rate sheets and that sort of stuff. And most professionals, whether it's real estate agents or in financing, they just kind of wait for people to come to them. So they want to work lay down. So what are some ways you're being proactive in informing people? Like, I mean, do you, because I'm sure there's some people that are a little more time sensitive than others.
Yeah. Well, we've seen this before the last two Fed meetings, where the rates are lower, and then after the meeting, after Jerome speaks, the rates tick up. And if you can see that trend and capitalize on it, that's great. Again, you can't time the market, but if you're in a position where you're under contract and you're debating on when to lock and you're leading up to the meeting, take the opportunity to lock. So that's a big deal there. That's really it. You can't time it perfectly. You could talk to them about buying points. You could talk to them about different programs. We could go with adjustables, lower rates with the adjustables. So there are options there to make it better.
Yeah, we try to get out in front of it. We send out weekly rate sheets.
Smart.
We have all of our clients on automatic drips, but we're also manually following up with them as well. We try to keep them informed of rate movement. We actually just rolled out a new feature in our CRM where we can allow our clients to go in and set an interest rate themselves of where they want to be.
Interesting.
And they'll get an automatic alert when the market does drop to that. So we just rolled that out this month.
That's true.
So yeah, we're trying to do whatever we can to keep people informed. But again, there's no timing it. We want to be the advocate for, like you said, is this the right house? Can you see yourself here? Can we make the payment work? But we're doing the best we can to give our clients the tools to keep in touch with the rate market, because the internet for that is a scary place.
Yeah, there's so much data, you can drown in it, which is the problem. So you toe the line of what's too much information and what's just enough, and you got to get a sense of that for every client. And if you know that they want more information, then by all means, give it to them. If you're presenting it in the right way, saying pros and cons and how you look at it, if they are welcoming your opinion, then you just let them make their decision based on all the information at hand.
Well, that's what a great advisor does. And I think that's the difference between people that are in this business more than a couple years. I mean, I'm sure you see people come in and out all the time and they're looking for easy laydowns. I mean, that's one of the challenges in real estate and any discipline here that we're talking about. So, with that in mind, I think you identified something, DJ, as a trend there. If I was looking to buy a home right now, I would be very cognizant of when this next Fed meeting is. Maybe try to lock my rate beforehand because
if you can.
If obviously you got to get the house right, but if you're playing the rate lock game, I usually see that not work out for people. That's been my experience. I'm sure you've seen that more often than not when you're trying to outthink the market. So I would just look at that like that's a trend now. Like it's happened twice in a row. I think you want to bring that up. I think that's really smart. So I want to take a quick pivot here. Then we're gonna break because we're looking at all these affordability questions. And I think how often do you hear affordability is a big issue for your clients?
All the time.
Well, and that affordability is related to home turnover. So this stat is shocking to me. This is from a Redfin report. 28 out of every 1,000 U.S. homes changed hands this year. That may sound like an okay number. I don't think it is. It's 2.8% of U.S. homes changed hand in 2025. That's the lowest turnover rate in 30 years. And I think that
is scary.
Wow.
I mean, it literally drops off a cliff when you look at this chart. And 38% fewer homes sold this year than during the pandemic peak. Now, that was an all-time market, so I think it's kind of the other end of this here. And this is what's contributing to these affordability concerns because you get so many people competing against each other. So when it comes to competing, and that there's that much lower, listings are increasing. They kind of bottomed out in 2023. We're seeing inventory rise, but there still is a lot of competition, especially single-family homes, suburban market, like that. That's really what we have happening here, probably more than anywhere else. What are some of the ways that, obviously if someone's cash non-contingent, that's like the best terms.
Yeah,
of course.
It's not most people. So if they got financing, talk a little bit about how you can get ahead of competing with cash. I know you guys use pre-commitments. You vet people pretty thoroughly. What does that look like for somebody in that kind of competitive environment? Like what's the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-commitment when it comes to what the borrower has to do?
Yeah.
We can talk about that and then the seller guarantee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah. The pre-commitment. So it's basically a full underwrite of someone's file, right? So when someone gets pre-qualified, they're working with us, the loan officer on the front end. We're doing an initial review. We like to be as thorough as we can. Not everyone is, but we're getting them what they need to at least place an offer. We like to take our clients a step further if we can to doing a full underwrite on their file, sending it actually into our underwriting team, pulling actual employment verifications, a full detailed review, the work that would normally be done leading up to the closing table. What that does is it helps you place your offer against a cash offer. You might not have the cash in hand, but you basically have a guarantee that money will be at the table. It's fully underwritten. You've been totally vetted. We just need the house.
Yep.
Love
it.
It.
Needs to pass appraisal, essentially.
So a big part of that is communicating this to the listing agent. So correct. I know you guys are very hands-on. What do you recommend for buyers and their agents, or should they just let the lender communicate? Like, because you can't assume the listing agent knows what's going on here.
All the above. Make sure you blast the pre-commitment out there. We have a nice, pretty cover letter to put it on it. Put it in your blurb in the email to the listing agent. Tell them about it on the phone. Tag us in so we can proactively reach out to the listing agent and explain the extra work that we did. Because a lot of times those cash offers, they might be a little bit lowballed. But if you have a fully committed, underwritten buyer with a better offer, it could be equally as good, if not stronger.
Agreed. Yeah. On top of that, that is the first step towards us also offering the seller guarantee, which is a newer product for us. The higher ups at Cross Country Mortgage really tip their hat and just trying to compete with cash offers in the best way that we can. So when we have this pre-commitment set up, we're doing all that underwriting in advance. There's so much confidence in that deal going through that we will be able to guarantee the seller that if we don't meet the agreed settlement date, we will write up to a $25,000 check to the seller for any grievances or costs that come up.
25 grand. Did I hear that right?
$25,000.
It's a lot of money.
It is.
It is.
I mean, average sale price is around 517 in the marketplace. That's 5%. That's a deposit. And I think it's a good way to look at it here, because everyone, you hear these numbers, it's all on a percentage. And, that's where it's important, in my view, to make sure you're not just going with the first lender you talk to, but shopping around a little bit. Because, I tell people this all the time. Hey, you should interview multiple agents. Don't just interview one, because 70% of people hire the first person they go with. That's documented. But you don't know what else is out there. Just because that person's good. I haven't heard of this program from anywhere. I mean, that's the first time I heard about it was when you guys told me. So it's that's and in this kind of market, when you're seeing now where there's more homes getting listed, the market's going the other way. But 2.8% of all the homes changing hands. It's going to be competitive, and the Northeast is one of the more competitive markets. On top of it, what we're seeing, especially around here. So really good. And these are differentiators. That's what separates good lenders from great lenders, offering those types of programs and being able to articulate it and then communicate it directly with the with the listing agent. I mean, I know for a fact our clients have won offers because of the work that you guys have done or Kevin's done, like actually communicating with them instead of not doing anything and missing all the deadlines, which is what most lenders do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Well, you don't do that. You do the good stuff.
We do
Let's
the
just
good
be clear.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The other stuff is a heart attack.
It is. It is. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some local development here. There's a vision for Wayne. The shops at Concord and Chadsford are getting tons of opposition. And King of Prussia's got a couple things happen as well. We'll be right back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. He's Kyle. He's DJ. They're both Suteras with Cross Country Mortgage. You can get in touch with them at ccm.com/the Sutera team. I'm with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. We've got a brief rundown of some local development happening here, and then Kyle and DJ are going to be going over different financing options, because there is a myth out there, right, wrong, or otherwise, that everyone needs to put 20% down. I still hear this all the time, and there's a lot of different options out there that can help you get some lower rates, some lower payments, or a little of both. So if you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and if you want to schedule a call with our team or Kyle and DJ, all you got to do is click on the link in the comments, and we can get you whatever information you need. So there's been a plethora of local development lately. The Exton Square Mall is now in tied up in litigation. Because I guess people want like a vacant mall sitting around is the plan. But there's more to come here, and I want to talk about a couple of these things here. So Radnor Township recently unveiled their vision for Wayne. So Kyle, you don't live far from here. I don't either. And the vision of Wayne, it's a collaborative effort to create a shared vision for the downtown Wayne area. It's part of Radnor's Township's comprehensive plan. And you go to the website, and I'd love this to be a lot more detailed than it actually is.
I clicked on the proposal. It's 200 pages.
Yeah, I mean, but the proposal's great. But I mean, it's like they have 8 different topics in here. Land use vision, sure. Business attraction, love that. Parking is an issue in these downtown areas. I think that's really smart. Yeah. Housing diversity and affordability. I'd love to see affordable housing develop there. I don't know how affordable it's going to be in downtown Wayne. It's one of the most, I mean, you get people probably all the time. I want to be close to a downtown area.
It's tough.
It's very tough. And, the single family homes around there, I mean, they're $1.5 million, $2 million, sometimes more, depending on where they are. And that's now there's some other areas that don't. There's some, you go back to behind the Wayne train station, there's, some twins and townhomes and that sort of stuff. I like the idea of this plan. I didn't see a plan here when I looked at this.
Plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I
The
was looking
plan
too.
is to improve everything.
Yeah.
More green space, but more stores. Fix the roads.
Yeah, parks.
I would love
it's
all
so
this
vague.
stuff. Yeah.
Economic development.
I love the idea, and I think that
Sustainability.
the problem with Wayne is there's not a whole lot of space to do these things.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's the fundamental problem. Is that downtown Wayne's only going to be so big, and so I mean, you live minutes from there. So I mean, do you see this as viable? Are they going to get anything done?
if I knew what they wanted to get done, I could maybe better answer it. But
it's so broad, you have to say yes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
They'll get something done.
You could always take down Radnor Middle School. There's a large plot there.
I'm sure people would love that.
Move it, I meant. Give them a brand new school. Let's use some of that for, green space. Well, sure. I like the idea. I like the initiative. I like that Radnor wants to improve Wayne and make it a little bit more accessible. And I hope they find a way to do it. I think that, this 200-page plan that's not quite a plan is a starting point. So let's see where it goes. I would support it.
Yeah, it's got to be more specific. I mean, this to me is almost like a presidential campaign promise. They tell you one thing, and it's like the idea sounds great, but what are we actually going to do? I mean, you look at the goals here with this. So proactive, that's a goal. Township will be proactive in attracting businesses that share community values. So I think that actually is important. You got to get the right business owners in there that are going to be vested in the community.
True.
2, Wayne. Wayne will be a high-quality, welcoming town center that serves as the social and economic center of the community where residents and visitors can safely and comfortably access a wide variety of goods. I think if Wayne could strive to be like a media, I think that would go a long way. Like more events, more community. Now, the space is tough. Media is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with a borough here. You're dealing with part of a township, which is a very different thing. Small commercial districts, including Garrett Hill and other neighborhoods along Conestoga Road. I think they could use some development. I think those businesses are kind of hit or miss, depending on where you are. The township will continue to be home to a robust office market while supporting efforts to reimagine underutilized office spaces. That's a tough one. Mm-hmm. People don't like to go to the office anymore, unless you're a maniac like me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are there.
Unless there's stuff right outside the door for you to do.
Sure. But then you got, so I think that's a problem. And then they have the commercial tax base. Obviously, I think that's what this is really all geared towards, how they can bring in more.
One of the things that I read in here somewhere, now I can't find it, is the push for more zoning of mixed use properties. I think that could have legs, because then you can try to check the retail box while also opening up housing and possibly lower income housing, all in one fell swoop. So I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
The issue that we have with a lot of these plans, and this is why I'm very frustrated with what West Whiteland Township's doing with the Exton Mall, is that you look at King of Prussia. 20 years ago, King of Prussia was like not this great destination, right? You had the mall there that was fine. Now they've put the town center in. They've got these townhomes they're building. They're more affordable than most new construction.
Mm-hmm.
Because the average new construction sale price is like $900,000 to $1.2 million. So they're coming in. You can buy one of those in the $6,000s, right? So that's more affordable. Not, I wouldn't say it's ideally affordable, but it's more affordable. And it's brought a lot of people into the area, and that's the kind of housing people are looking for, like townhomes, condos. It's like everyone, and the builders only want to build single-family homes, and unless the zoning changes, I don't see how you're going to be able to do that. And that to me is a big unlock here that a lot of these places could use. And you look at what's happening in Ardmore, they're taking like the IHOP parking lot and they're turning that into like an apartment building with mixed use. That's really great. That's going to bring some more affordable housing. That's the kind of stuff we need to see in these places.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we want a more specific plan from Wayne. Kyle's going to be at the next meeting at the Radnor Township meeting talking about this.
Yeah, Ardmore is a great example of it. I think they have similar issues, similar wealth in the area, but they've really kind of nailed it with just everything going on in the town, and there are offices there. I like what they're doing over there.
Well, we moved to Ardmore in 2011. We lived there for about 9-10 years, and it did not look like that in 2011. I mean, it was a lot of like tired businesses, which I think you got some of those in Wayne.
Yep.
It was a lot of office space that was like kind of funky, which you still get. And they had that Dranoff came in and built Ardmore 1. That was another thing that got disputed by everyone in the township. They had township meetings going until like 4 a.m. when it was already approved. People just yelling about parking and stuff like that. I mean, so you can't have it both ways. You either got to develop it or you don't. And that's one of the challenges we have around here is there's not enough land to develop. I think it has gone in a really positive direction, DJ, over there. I think it's drastically different than what we've seen in the past. So that's a great observation.
Yeah.
Speaking of opposition, so you guys both grew up in the Chadsford area, Westchester area. There's a $70 million shopping center at a controversial Concord Township site. It's a 25.5 acre plot of land It's been approved for 165,000 square feet of retail space, and it's trading hands with new owners planning to move ahead with developing the site. And these approvals were actually received back in 2018, so it was 7 years ago. And now all of a sudden, it's the shops at Concord. They're talking about a wide range of 10. This is right off like 202 and like the Whole Foods down there. And there's a lot of retail already there at 202 and Route 1. I mean, I don't think they have a shortage of retail. Right. And they could, but I mean, there's some lot of high end tenants, and now all of a sudden, what we're seeing happen is there's a lot of opposition for this. So if you look at the what just happened recently, let me get to the right article here. So where are we at? All right. So there was crowds of residences challenging the developers of the proposal during a meeting with Chad Ford's supervisors last week. It was the week before Halloween, talking about traffic, stormwater, and land use impacts. And representatives from the retail sites, which plan for a supermarket, gas station, car wash among the 10 buildings, said all of them fall under the appropriate zoning. And this went on, and now there's a lot of opposition here. So what do you think about this? I mean, I think your first comment was I'd love to see homes put in there, which I
stick to that.
I don't disagree with you. I think that's one of the problems is that they don't. What about a mixed use development? Like, what about some townhomes in there with the there's ways to do both. What do you think about this? You guys are from the area. You mentioned traffic already. Are these founded concerns that people have that want to see this stuff get developed?
Founded for sure, because I know firsthand growing up driving down 202 on that road for a long time, it gets congested. So that was my first hesitation, especially if housing was going in there, but it sounds like it's approved for retail. So my next thought is put a gym in there, make it a hang, give me some restaurants that might be a little bit more fresh than like the Harvest across the street.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I think the Gap is still there. Do people actually go into Gap?
I think people do go to Gap.
Yeah,
they have one in Suburban Square. I mean, that's one of the few stores that hasn't closed in there. That's like a big retail store.
It's been holding tight. That's true. But I mean, I think there's a lot of room to make it a retail space where people will want to peruse around, make it feel more like a KOP. Almost like what Newtown Square is building.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an LA Fitness in there.
Yeah, I mean, I know this plot of land. I used to live 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's why one of your feedbacks. I mean, I think that's super relevant growing up in the area.
It's just if you live in that area, you know that plot of land, and it's nice to drive by green space. Of course, no one wants to let it go. Land is going to get developed in this area. It's going to happen.
Yep.
Again, I would rather see homes there so that we could sell them. And they have a lot of other retail along that strip, but hopefully it's the right stores. I feel for the people that are fighting it, but I think ultimately
there's also, I mean, the homes that are there in that area are back farther off of 202.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I understand fighting it, but it also could make it so that they have even more things right at their fingertips right there.
Yeah, traffic's the one concern. I don't think there's not enough houses right there to make it like a noise issue. And I imagine they'll take care of the stormwater problems. Traffic, they're going to have to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to, but even if you added more homes, I mean, there's still going to be more traffic on some level. So it's, traffic's going to be an issue. I think anytime you develop anything, you guys live down there. I mean, I think you talk about Newtown Square, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a dead stretch of land for a very long time along Westchester Pike, just west of 252. And now they started off where they put it's now La Scala's, but it was something else before. They didn't change the name. They changed the name, but they didn't change anything else.
Yeah.
You got the Whole Foods there, and all of a sudden, like now there's this vibrant area because there's so many people that lived in Newtown Square. Now here you already have a lot of retail in that neck of the woods in Concord Township, so it's not the same kind of issue. But you want to make it something people are going to actually come and use, and a gym's like Lifetime Fitness has brought a lot of people. I don't know if that's the right economics for that. But, gyms, things like that, that's the kind of retail that you need. I actually do like the car wash. I think that's actually pretty smart because there's not enough car washes around. And
there's one like right down the road there.
Okay, you guys would know better than me. So
yeah. I mean, hey, if you throw in the competition. That's fine. But I don't know. There's a lot of good retail that does well. Like, how about a Rally House? Give me a Rally House there. I don't know.
They just print money at Rally House.
They might. They might.
Get your VJ Edgecombe jerseys, everybody.
Yeah.
So you guys think this is founded, and I the difference between some of these areas we're talking about, like Radnor's doesn't have enough space. I think in Chadds Ford they have the space, but maybe there's more residents that would go there. I mean, you're going to get a draw with the schools and different things. So mixed use is.
I think mixed use would be great. That's what made Newtown Square like the bustling metropolis. Call it.
Yeah, look at Ellis Preserve. The people that live there, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
the retail in combination with the residential, I think, could be a really cool fit for this stretch of 202.
I was shocked at the stores in Newtown Square. They have a Ruth Chris Steakhouse there. I did not know that.
Yeah,
they got some high end coffee place. Like there's a number of restaurants in there. And the one complaint most people have about living in the suburbs, and you probably get this a little more than DJ, is the lack of restaurants and places to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple hubs, but something like that would go a long way for some people. At least that's what I've heard from a lot of folks. Like there's only a handful of places to go.
Yeah, especially coming from the city.
Agreed.
Yes,
because you kind of run through the chains pretty quick, and then you're looking for like those more niche, more mom and pop, Which, I mean, you look at new retail, maybe you won't get that there, but if you price it right, maybe you will.
Shout out Wayne. Wayne has some great restaurants.
Yes,
true.
They do. All right. So last local piece of news here, and I'm just curious what you think about this. There's another major tenant coming to King of Prussia. So I think this shows you what happens when you do mixed use right. King of Prussia just landed Dick's House of Sports. So if you know Dick's Sporting Goods,
that's a big deal.
It is. It's going to open in 2027. They have turf fields, ice rinks, rock climbing, and this is going in the former J.C. Penney space, which I think is pretty small. Dick's is already like very close to there, so they can kind of expand right into it. And it's getting something like that. It's an experiential retail tenant. They already have the Netflix house there. This is why King of Prussia is doing well, because they're bringing in this kind of stuff and they're not fighting development. Now they already have the empty space, so I think that helps. And this is probably where Exton Square Mall is missing. I think they're they could be getting tenants like this.
No, yeah, they're adapting. They're kind of they're filling space with something intriguing. I haven't seen that Netflix house yet, but all the ads I get served for it looks wild. This what's it called? Dick's
House of Sports.
Looks awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And I don't even know if they have one in Pittsburgh, I think. That's the only other one, right? In the state.
I mean, it looks awesome.
Yeah. It's a complex and a half.
Looks like the perfect thing to have in a mall.
Right?
No, I mean, I think this is a good move. I think it's a good move by Dick's as well.
Yeah.
To start popping these up, with retail down a lot. And I know that their foot traffic has probably been down. This is like a destination to go. And if they're really putting fields and rinks in there, you get,
Well, especially this time of year. Like, I mean, it's like kids like going ice skating and stuff like that. I mean, it's such an attraction. Then, I mean, all of a sudden
you're the new Macy's.
Well, you're also, it's the holiday season. Like, you can pull in some shopping and all that stuff. I mean, I think it go a long way. So it does make sense. I mean, but this is what happens when you make that kind of investment and you get tenants like this. I mean, instead of, having IKEA come in like they are in Granite Run, and you have to get everything shipped to you. Like it's just such a dramatic difference.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's going to be great.
DJ's going to be camping out there the day before they open. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. Yeah, they get them tired, then they go to sleep.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some mortgage products that are available with Cross Country Mortgage next on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB-860 AM. All right. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB-860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. He's Kyle. He's DJ. They're both of the Sutera team at Cross Country Mortgage. You can get in touch with them at ccm.com/the Sutera team, SUTERA. I work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. We're going to be talking about different mortgage products. I think this is such a smart thing for any consumer to be aware of, and I am shocked how many people don't know what their options are. So if you get some value out of this, you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, And if you want to schedule a call with Kyle and DJ, there's a link in the comments that'll get you in touch with them so they can go over all your financing options, whether you're looking to do something now or in 2026. So, fellas, I'm going to kick it to you here. I'm just going to ask a couple questions. I have to sell to buy, or I want to buy before I sell. All my money's tied up in my home. One of the biggest questions we get.
Yeah.
What are the options that are out there?
Yeah, it's a problem that we run into every single day. And there absolutely are options. The biggest problem when you have a house that you when you want to buy a house without selling your current is where's the money coming from,
Yeah.
right? My money is actually tied up in my house. So we have options to pull that equity out. You can use home equity lines, home equity loans. Those are ones that a lot of people know about. We have many, many different options on those. We also have a bridge loan, which is essentially it's a short-term loan on your current house to source that equity to go and buy the new one. Now, what a lot of people run into problems with is, okay, I have my house, I have my equity, I'm pulling that money out by way of a bridge loan or a home equity line. Now I'm maxed out on what I can qualify for, right? Yep. Now I have 2 loans on my current house. I can't get approved for the loan that I want on my new house. And that's been one of the biggest problems with bridge loans and buy before sell scenarios. So cross country, we found some ways to work with that. We've got a couple different programs right now where we can source a bridge loan from your current house, and then, with some stipulations on having your current house ready to list or sign a listing contract, we have an option to actually exclude your current housing debt from your debt ratios when applying for the new loan. So we can essentially pretend like your current house is sold, pull that equity out, use it to buy the new house. It's been extremely helpful for people that, are just uncertain. No one wants to list their house before knowing where they're going to move to. But we have options that can really ease that blow and help make that transition a lot easier. And 9 times out of 10, current house is going to sell at the same time or before you actually buy. A lot. I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but it works out that way a lot.
Quite a bit.
So we have these options, and we can use them, not use them. Use them to take you almost all the way there until we don't need them. So there's a lot of flexibility there. The other tool that a lot of people don't know exists is called a recast, which is basically it's a backwards way of putting the amount of money down that you wanted to initially, right? And we work with this a lot when people they have a little bit of money, but not as much as they would have if they sold their current house, right? So we try to scrape together whatever we can to put 5%, 10% down on the new house. We close, they sell their other house a couple months later, a month later, they can actually restructure their current mortgage or the mortgage that they just took out. They can dump equity into the loan and recast that payment or recalculate that payment over the remaining term at a new lower principal balance. So you can get back to that monthly payment that you were going to get with a 50% down, even though you had to start with 5 or 10% down. So that one we've used more than anything. And people just don't know it exists, and it can help really, make you feel more comfortable about having to, pay some PMI for a couple months or something like that. And then if you don't, so this is more for the people with interest rates, right? That are really worried about where the rates are. They want to try to time the market, kind of taking it back to the conversation we were having earlier.
Sure.
We want to make you comfortable with where you are now. We don't want you to have to worry about getting the best possible rate or waiting for that perfect time. So cross country, we have a buy now, refinance later program, where as long as you fund your purchase loan with us, we'll essentially do a free refinance at the end. We'll waive all of our lending fees. We'll cut it down so that you're not pigeonholed into that rate that you had to get when you found your house. And we can make that refinance later extremely cost effective, essentially free. So you don't have to worry about timing the market. You can sit back and wait for them to get lower while you're in your new house.
Love it.
Boom.
Love it.
Well, and the fact that you can articulate this, like this is what consumers need to hear. Because they always think, oh, I need a contingency, or they go to no one educates them about this stuff. And I find that that's very eye-opening when they have that kind of conversation with professionals like you two.
Yeah, it's great. I think recasting cannot be understated because people don't talk about it at all. A lot of people know what refinancing is, and we've got it as a great offering. But recasting, you can do that as many times as you want as long as you own the home. So
with essentially no cost.
Essentially no cost. There's a minimum. You got to contribute usually at least 10 grand. So if you come up on a block of cash, say you do some like stock harvesting, maybe you're taking a loss. You got to
sell your other house.
Yeah, or you sell your other house. I don't know. If you come up on some money and you want to throw it at the house, recasting is a great way to lower your payment quickly, and it doesn't change your other deal points. It's just going to lower your payment. Boom, done. You're good.
It's a great tool.
Yeah, it's a great tool.
So what about the people that are worried they can't afford a home because they don't have enough down money? This is another one that is shocking to me. I mean, this happens a lot. I'll give you the stats on it in a second, but you get that phone call. I don't have 20% down, DJ. What do I do?
Yeah, this can be an extensive conversation. So I'm going to try to limit it to some of the major points. But first off, you do not need 20% down payment.
Do not.
Okay, you do not need it. It's kind of a thing that people talk about because back in the day, to avoid private mortgage insurance, PMI, you needed to put 20% down, and it definitely behooved you to do so because PMI was pretty expensive. It's not that expensive anymore. It works on two scales. One, whatever your down payment is. So the more you put down, the less mortgage insurance you pay. And it works on a scale of your credit score. So the higher your score, the cheaper the PMI there. So we're going to let you know what that ends up being based on your comfort levels with down payment. But you can put as little as 3% down with a conventional loan as a first timer. FHA is 3.5%. You don't even need to be a first timer for FHA. Okay, so
all with very affordable PMI.
All with very affordable PMI. We also have assistance products that can significantly reduce the amount of money you need to be buying that house. In a lot of ways, in a lot of instances, you see the money halved of the amount that you need to buy that house when you're putting the minimum down payment down. So those are great ways that we can directly impact how much money you need to buy a house. So talk to us about those options. We'll break it down for you, see what makes sense. We have other ways around PMI. So, say you're getting close to the 20% down, but you're not quite there. Say you can muster up 15%. We have a 15% down, no PMI product that does not affect the interest rate or any other deal points. It's a fantastic offer that we have not seen enough people take advantage of, personally, in my opinion.
Tell them what it's called.
It's called Bye Bye PMI.
That's literally what the program's called?
Cute name. Bye Bye PMI. Who needs it?
62% of Americans think you need 20% down to buy a home. So, I mean, that's that just tells you how bad the information is that's out there. So you got Bye Bye PMI, you got low down payment options. What other products do people need to know about? We got like a minute or so left here. So what else should people know if they're thinking about purchasing something, whether it's now or even 12 months from now? Because it's never too early to start planning.
Pre-approval at any time. It can't be too soon.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
No matter where you are in your home search, or if you're even just dipping your toe in the water and you kind of get addicted to perusing Zillow, which we all do.
Yeah.
Get a pre-approval. We don't run hard credit. We don't collect fees. There's no backstep to it. It's purely informational. It's going to let you know where you stand now to help you plan for the future. And a lot of people get surprised at where they stand now of like, wow, I really can do this right now if I wanted to. And if they can't, we can help them get there.
Yeah. We don't bite. We're here to talk. We're here to help.
And the no hard credit pull means it doesn't affect your credit when they pull it. Another myth busted here right on Toole Time Real Estate Radio. So if you want to get in touch with Kyle and DJ, it's ccm.com/the Team. It's SUTERA. You guys are on Instagram. What yours is like Kyle with like 15 Ys or something like that. So we're not going to go there.
Don't look me up on Instagram.
ccm.com/the Team. You can follow me on Instagram at TomToole3RD. We'll be back next week on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.